we're in a mental health crisis on a global scale, and a lot of the violence stems from that, right? Hurt people is a cliche for a reason. This is my dream from the night of July 28th, 2024. The near empty table hiding my lap had a shiny black finish to match the long lecture hall desks circling me. A woman sat on my left, a man on my right. Both were white and about my age. And we were talking from the highest platform in the room. The audience listened attentively from the lecture desks, each ring of which sunk a step down as they got further away from our post in the center of the room. Long rectangular windows along the rear and side walls revealed a luscious forest outside. I was a healer, and I was helping the woman backtrack through her life until she identified that the trauma of losing her mother was still impacting her. Tears sprouted enthusiastically from her eyes at the breakthrough, but they were more for relief than grief. The audience cheered as I hugged her, and while my back was to the audience, I got a glimpse of the man's face. He had also stood at the woman's epiphany, but he waited his turn with trepidation. I knew he'd lost his father and therefore had similar wounds, which he recognized, but he was both hesitant to delve into that and worried he wouldn't get a go. While the audience continued to clap for the woman wiping her eyes, I embraced the man as well. Whispering gently in his ear, I told him it was okay. He would be next, and I felt him relax within my reach as he released a deep sigh. All of a sudden, the jovial, celebratory atmosphere in the cabin was obliterated when the door crashed inwards and about 6 hunched figures bullied their way into the crowd. A sickness gripped them, and it sagged their skin, draining their color until they looked like over-dried oranges. Some had additional dermatological deformities, while others still had patches of their original flesh. When the door had first been flung open, I slipped neatly off the top platform and into the rises to hide amongst the audience, who were now totally silent. The aggressors danced around the room, leering and hooting, rushing up into people's faces, then fainting off at the last moment, trying to garner a reaction. We all knew how contagious they were. The uninfected kept their hands to themselves and eyes averted, and the infected teased them with their fear. Smashing things at random as if to prove the sincerity of their request, the hooligans started to make demands, although I don't remember what they were. Nobody replied, and nor did I, choosing to hand back and not draw attention to myself. Although the audience was tense, I could feel their faith, the resolute acceptance that I could and would protect them. They didn't answer the trespassers because they were waiting for me to act. During the day, I had written about a past dream where I'd struggled to manifest shield bubbles, and this was an ideal setting to practice. Envisioning a swirling blue field encasing the building, I crossed my forearms away from my chest, pulsing a burst of energy into the target film. The target film is a thin line in space where the shield forms. Energy projects from the center of the film and repels other vibrations. The forearm motion had no effect, so I tried a different method. Focusing on one spot in the haze outside, I flexed my fingers and lined my thumbs and index finger around the spot, making a diamond frame. Latching onto that spot, I tried to pull outwards, imagining the shield unfurling as liquid light and expanding along the film until it surrounded the building. Unfortunately, even though I could feel tugging through the tingles on the inner skin of my hand, the weak ripples did not pass the threshold into an image, so I couldn't actually create that bubble. Giving up, I returned my attention to the vandals, who were still milling around, making a mess, and teasing the members of the audience, trying to crack their unified silence. Nobody had noticed my hand gestures, and they did not know I held the authority here. I had no difference in status, but the collective had wordlessly chosen me as their leader in that moment. Keeping my hands concealed by my side, I hooked on to one of the ranting men, then flung him out the window with a flick. Glass rained down, clattering on the varnished surfaces inside as the rest of the hooligans spun around at the sound. A few members of the audience turned their faces away to hide their smirks, and I did my best to seem clueless and innocent as the leader started shouting at his minions for an explanation. Spooked, the man I'd thrown aside had pelted off into the jungle, and he would not be alone for long. Sinking in with another body on the other side of the room so as to divert focus from my area, I smashed them through another window, sending them rolling over the leaf-strewn soil. As soon as they found their feet, they leapt up and quickly disappeared into the trees. Growing more agitated, the assailants were becoming increasingly vehement, shouting both at each other and their hostages for answers. Our stoic resistance only fueled their fear and anger, but apparently they thought we were too stupid to be responsible. Their verdict was that it was haunted, as one by one they were cast outside by an invisible force. Me. Eventually, only the leader was left, who looked like a demon from a recent Angel episode, with sagging white skin and pointed flappy ears. He didn't believe that there was a ghost, but he seemed to have accepted his vulnerability. His speech was softer now, but he was leering in a maliciously confident tone that assured retribution. Even though he knew he was about to be thrown out, he was still loving every moment of this. With one flick of my left fingers, he was yanked back through the door, and with a second flick, the door slammed closed behind him. Finally breaking their silence since the intruders came onto the scene, the audience broke into cheers. They'd known all would be well and had been waiting so we could continue. And then we basically just carried on, and that was it. The way the lead antagonist of the story reveled in their role speaks to how we can find joy in every character and story. Enjoy the part you're playing and make the most of it. Have fun and take advantage without hurting anyone. This is a great point at this last bit where, like, as an actor, playing villains is really fun. It's so fun. And we just can't really do that in physical reality because there are real world consequences to that, and people get legitimately hurt, you know? There's a lot of stuff happening in the world, lots of videos that aren't so nice, and it's real, right? It's not all stage and film gore. It's not all AI generated. There's a lot of not great content out there. It's important to be aware of it, though, because we need to know that these things are happening and we need to address that. We're in a mental health crisis on a global scale, and a lot of the violence stems from that, right? Hurt people. It's a cliche for a reason.